Good afternoon and welcome to the weekly business meeting of the South Carolina Public Service Commission. Today is Thursday, March 13th, 2025. It is approximately 1 p.m. Before we begin, would you please join me in a moment of silent reflection? Thank you. All commissioners are present in the hearing room. Mr. Scarborough, would you please proceed?
Good afternoon, Chair Powers, Vice Chair Williams, and Commissioners. First order of business is to set the next regularly scheduled business meeting. Staff recommends that the next Commission business meeting be set for Thursday, March 20th, 2025 at 1 o'clock p.m.
The next business meeting will be on Thursday, March 20th at 1 p.m.
Today we have 9 items on the utilities agenda and 14 items on the transportation agenda. Item number 1 on the utilities agenda is in docket number 2025-77C. This is a request for approval of the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Wide Voice LLC.
Having heard item number 1 is presented by Mr. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. On February 25th, 2025, Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Wide Voice LLC jointly filed an interconnection agreement for approval by the Commission pursuant to Section 252E of the Federal Telecommunications Act of 1996. The agreement is for, among other things, the interconnection of their networks, the unbundling of specific network elements, and or the resale of telecommunications services. The Commission is charged with the duty and obligation to either approve or reject the agreement within 90 days of its submission by the signatory parties. I move that the Commission approve the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Wide Voice LLC. I further move that the Commission finds that the agreement does not discriminate against any non-party telecommunications carrier, and the agreement is consistent with the public interest, convenience, and necessity.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 2 is in docket number 2025-78C. This is a request for approval of the interconnection agreement and amendment between Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Stratus Networks Incorporated.
As to item number 2, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas.
Thank you. On February 25th, 2025, Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina and Stratus Networks Incorporated, jointly filed an interconnection agreement and amendment for approval by the Commission pursuant to Section 252E of the Federal Telecommunications Act of 1996. The agreement is for, among other things, the interconnection of their networks, the unbundling of specific network elements, and or the resale of telecommunication services. The Commission is charged with the duty and obligation to either approve or reject the agreement within 90 days of its submission by the signatory parties. I move that the Commission approve the interconnection agreement and amendment between Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Stratus Networks Incorporated. I further move that the Commission finds that the agreement and amendment do not discriminate against any non-party telecommunications carrier, and that they are consistent with the public interest, convenience, and necessity. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 3 is in docket number 2006-364C. This is a request for approval of the Third Amendment to the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Spectratel of the South LLC.
As to item number 3, do I hear a motion?
Chair Powers,
Commissioner Caston.
thank you. On February 25th, 2025, Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Spectratel of the South LLC jointly filed for approval by the Commission the third negotiated amendment to an interconnection agreement between these carriers pursuant to Section 252E of the Federal Telecommunications Act of 1996. The Commission is charged with the duty and obligation to either approve or reject the amendment within 90 days of its submission by the signatory parties. I move that the Commission approve the third negotiated amendment between Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Spectratel of the South LLC. I further move that the Commission finds that the third negotiated amendment to an interconnection agreement between these carriers does not discriminate against any non-party telecommunications carrier, and that the third amendment is consistent with the public interest, convenience, and necessity. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Caston, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 4 appears in docket number 2011-158E. This is a request from Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for confidential treatment of the self-report of the inadvertent disclosure of customer information.
Having heard item number 4, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, I move that the commission grant the request of Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for confidential treatment of the self-report of inadvertent disclosure of customer information, which is being filed in compliance with Commission Order Number 2020-490 and the company's code of conduct adopted by Commission Order Number 2016-772, dated November 2nd, 2016, and updated on October 9th, 2018. I further move that the Commission find the confidential version of this report contains proprietary, confidential, and commercially sensitive information of a nature that, if disclosed, could negatively impact the company's ability to safely and reliably ability to provide safe and reliable, effective service to their customers. See request page number 1. As such, I move the Commission grant protection from disclosure of the confidential report so that it is exempt from disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act, South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-10, and is exempt from public disclosure. So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Williams. Having heard the motion by Vice Chair Williams, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 5 is in docket number 2024-316E. This item involves final disposition of this docket.
As to this item, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Commissioner Belser.
Thank you. I move that the Commission grant the application of South Carolina Public Service Authority, for also known as Santee Cooper, for a certificate of environmental compatibility and public convenience and necessity for the construction and operation of the Wassamasaw to Pringletown numbers 1 and 2, 230, 115 kV lines and associated facilities pursuant to the Utility Facility Siting and Environmental Protection Act and applicable Commission rules and regulations. The approval granted herein is subject to the applicant obtaining all federal, state, and local permits, consultations, and certifications. A full order detailing this motion will be issued.
Thank you, Commissioner Belser. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Belser, is there any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 6 appears in docket number 2025-11E. This is a request from Dominion Energy South Carolina Incorporated that neither notice nor hearing be required for the company's request to modify the availability sections of rates 5 and 7.
Item 6, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belcher.
thank you. On January 31, 2025, Dominion filed its annual DSM petition and requested approval to add one sentence to the availability provision of rates 5 and 7 of Dominion's Residential Demand Response Program recently approved by the Commission in Order Number 2024-814. As part of the Residential Demand Response Program, Dominion will recruit, educate, and encourage additional customer enrollment in a time-of-use rate of their choosing and encourage existing time-of-use customers to shift usage to off-peak and super off-peak hours, minimize on-peak usage and stagger energy use to achieve maximum bill savings while providing operational benefits to Dominion's electric system. Dominion plans to promote the ability of a customer to enroll in rate 5 or 7 and will advise customers that if they become dissatisfied with their experience under a time-of-use rate, then they may transfer their electric service to a non-time-of-use rate for which they qualify. However, in the event that a customer switches from a time-of-use rate to a non-time-of-use rate, then that customer may not switch back to rate 5 or rate 7 for 12 months. According to Dominion's petition, this limitation is intended to mitigate or limit the potential issues that Dominion and customers may experience as a result of customers frequently switching back and forth between non-time-of-use and time-of-use rates. Dominion requests authority to modify the availability provision of rates 5 and 7 to include a sentence explaining this 12-month limitation. The Office of Regulatory Staff does not object to Dominion's request. South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-27-870F states in part that the Commission may allow rates or tariffs to be put into effect without notice and hearing upon order of the Commission when such rates or tariffs do not require a determination of the entire rate structure and overall rate of return, or when the rates or tariffs do not result in any rate increase to the electrical utility, or when the rates or tariffs are for experimental purposes, or when the rates or tariffs are so filed are otherwise necessary to obtain orderly rate administration. I move the Commission find the following: that Dominion's requested modification to the availability provision of rates 5 and 7 does not result in any rate increase to the utility and does not require a determination of the entire rate structure or overall rate of return, but is necessary for Dominion to obtain orderly rate administration, and that pursuant to the provisions of South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-27-870F, it is not necessary to publish any additional notice regarding the inclusion of this modification to tariff rates 5 and 7, and it is appropriate for the Commission to waive a hearing on this requested tariff modification. Based on these findings and in accordance with South Carolina Code Annotated Section 58-27-870F, I move the Commission grant Dominion's request for waiver of notice and hearing. So move.
Thank you, Commissioner Belcher. Having heard the motion, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 7 appears in docket number 2025-80WS. This is a motion from Jacob Utilities, LLC, for confidential treatment of Exhibits A and B in its application.
As to item number 7, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the Commission grant the request of JCAB Utilities, LLC, for confidential treatment of Exhibits A and B of the application filed on February 26, 2025 in this docket. I further move that the Commission find The confidential version of Exhibits A and B contains proprietary, confidential, commercially sensitive financial and trade secret information of a nature that, if disclosed, could negatively impact JCAB Utilities and its shareholders. JCAB Utilities asserts that the financial information meets the definition of trade secret, quote unquote, as defined under South Carolina Code Annotated Section 39-8-20A. To exclude such information from public disclosure and from disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act, South Carolina Code Annotated Section 30-4-10, et sequitur. I further move the Commission find that this information is exempt from disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act and that it is exempt from public disclosure.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 8 is in docket number 2024-275E. This item involves a proposed comment schedule for this docket proposed by Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC.
As to item number 8, is there a motion?
Chair Powers,
Commissioner Thomas.
I move that the commission adopt the procedural schedule proposed by Duke Energy Carolinas LLC and Duke Energy Progress LLC for comments from the Office of Regulatory Staff and intervening parties concerning the Duke Company's proposed clean energy program. The comment schedule offered by the Duke Companies has been discussed with representatives from the parties of record, including the Office of Regulatory Staff, Walmart Incorporated, South Carolina Coastal Conservation League, Southern Alliance for Clean Energy, and Vote Solar. These parties agreed to this comment schedule. Therefore, I move that the Commission adopt the comment schedule in this docket as follows. April 30, 2025, initial comments from ORS and other intervening parties of record. May 21st, 2025, responsive comments by the Duke Companies and any other party of record in response to initial comments. May 30, 2025, reply comments by any party of record to responsive comments. I move that the Commission instruct the Clerk's Office to set the comment schedule in this docket as suggested by the Duke Companies and as agreed to among the parties of record. The Commission may need some flexibility to accommodate extraordinary circumstances or for good cause. Therefore, I also move that the Commission authorize Commission staff to alter or adjust the scheduled comment deadlines as needed. So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Thomas, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Item number 9 is a request from Vice Chair Williams to instruct the Chief Clerk to confer in applicable Commission dockets with the parties of record and/or Commission staff for inclusion of an order issuance date and procedural schedules and/or consideration of its regulatory processes and issuance of Commission orders.
As to item number 9, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Vice Chair Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, before I make my motion, I just want to offer a little bit of background. I've had the good pleasure to work with Executive Director Jocelyn Boyd since my time on the Commission on several opportunities to improve the Commission. I think a few of my fellow commissioners have had similar opportunities, and in that time, we've made some improvements and increased efficiency. What comes to mind is improving our pro se litigants guide. I think we also created some documents to help with notices. I think we referenced them as public information notices. We've also worked here internally at the Commission, and Executive Director Boyd has worked with the General Assembly to create an environment where we no longer have transportation hearings, which I believe has greatly increased efficiency and effectiveness related to getting transportation certificates out certificates of public convenience and necessity for movers of household goods and others. And in that same vein, I had the opportunity to have a conversation with the executive director regarding improving the commission even more, or at least exploring opportunities to do so. And in those conversations, I was looking at what we could do to improve the user friendliness of the commission by way of orders and all of our stakeholders, the impact of orders on them personally and to their business, and whether or not we could implement some level of timeline or procedure related to order issuance at the commission. And what she brought up to me was that while that's a good idea, a better idea may be to work with all commission stakeholders on a number of issues or opportunities, I should say, for improvement as it relates to the commission's regulatory processes. And so with that in mind, I would move that the commission direct chief clerk to schedule a public forum and a non-docket for interested stakeholders to provide feedback and comments related to efficiency, effectiveness, timeliness, fairness, and the user-friendliness of the commission's regulatory processes, including but not limited to the following. Number one, notice of public hearings. Number two, public hearing scheduling, location selection, and time allotted for witness testimony. Number three, the value of filing pre-hearing briefs. Number four, the value of pre-hearing, post-hearing, and status conferences for planning and scheduling proposed orders. Number five, the value of pre-hearing, post-hearing, and status conferences for planning the time frame to issue commission orders that are not governed by statutory deadlines, including suggestions for any particular dockets that necessitate a commission decision within a specific time frame. Number six, commission business meeting time and schedule. Number seven, the commission's docket management system. Number eight, the commission's allowable ex parte briefing process. Number nine, the commission's process for selecting consultants in applicable dockets. And finally, number 10, the commission's website and meeting live streaming process. And so these are just a number of items that I would be very happy for all commission stakeholders to provide comments and suggestions if they have them related to the commission's regulatory processes. There may be others that are not included here. There may be ideas that stakeholders have that we as the commission have not thought of that could improve the user friendliness of the commission and improve the commission's efficiency and effectiveness overall. And I hope this non-docket will give interested stakeholders an opportunity to work with the commission to improve. And with that, fellow commissioners, Mr. Chair, fellow commissioners, that's my motion. I so move.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Having heard the motion by Vice Chair Williams, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in
Mr. Chairman,
favor?
I would like to
Belson.
comment if I could. I would like to thank the Vice Chair, the Executive Director, and other commissioners that may have, I know that the Vice Chair's been talking with a number of commissioners, but I would just like to thank those that have worked on this for doing so. I think that we've, as the Vice Chair's noted, I think we've made a number of improvements in just the time that I've been here at the Commission. But I think that there's always room to look and see if there's more that can be done. And I'd rather attack it and look at it in this manner than should something go wrong. Not saying that anything's going to go wrong, but let's just, I think it's good to constantly and continually evaluate ourselves and allow the stakeholders to let us know if there are things that might help us. I'm not saying that the stakeholders get to tell us what we do, but they may have suggestions from their work in other jurisdictions that we don't know about, or just to help us continually improve and be effective for the utilities and, more importantly, the ratepayers of South Carolina. So I just appreciate the time and thought that's gone into working this motion up and putting this idea forward. And I'd just like to thank the commissioners and the staff members who've worked on it. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Belser. I think we all could agree that anything to help us do better, we certainly will willing to give it a try. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the utilities agenda before the commission. Moving on to the motor carrier agenda. In Part A, we have 8 applications for new Class C and Class E certificates, which the commission can address together. Item A1 is in docket number 2025-69T, which is the application of LGA Management Company, doing business as Carolina First EMS, for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A2 appears in docket number 2025-70T. This is the application of Heavenly Heart Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A3 is in docket number 2025-71T, which is the application of Lila Logistics Transport LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A4 is in docket number 2025-73T, which is the application of Spartanburg Moving LLC, doing business as Spartanburg Moving, for a Class E household goods certificate. Item A5 is in docket number 2025-74T. This is the application of Dunswell Transportation Services LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate. Item A6 is in docket number 2025-75T, which is the application of Low Country Limousine LLC for a Class C charter certificate. Item A7 is in docket number 2025-76T. This is the application of Axis Transportation LLC, doing business as the Little Green Bus Company for a Class C charter certificate. And item A8 is in docket number 2025-79T, which is the application of Miracle AK Transportation LLC for a Class C non-emergency certificate.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough. As to items A1 through A8, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Thomas.
I move that the commission approve the applications for Class C and Class E certificates in item numbers A1 through A8 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. A directive order will be issued for the application in the respective docket.
Thank you, Commissioner Thomas. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Thomas, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
In Part B of the transportation agenda, we have 2 requests to amend certificates that the commission can also address together. Item B1 is in docket number 2017-179T. This is a request from SC Shuttle Services LLC to amend Class C Charter Certificate number 9270 to read 15 passengers. Item B2 appears in docket number 2018-395T. This is a request from Sheila Rory, doing business as Show Up Taxi Service, to amend Class C Taxi Certificate number 9426 to read Johnny Williams, doing business as Show Up Taxi Service.
Thank you. As to items B1 and B2, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Caston.
Thank you. I move that the commission approve the request to amend the certificate in items number B1 and B2 as identified by Mr. Scarborough. Directive order will be issued to amend the motor carrier's Class C certificate in each respective docket. I so move.
Thank you, Commissioner Caston. Having heard the motion, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. Motion carries.
In Part C of the transportation agenda, there are 3 requests for extensions of time that we will take separately. Item C1 is in docket number 2024-295T. This is a request from Super Nannies Taxi LLC for a 12-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
As to item C1, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move that the commission grant the request of Super Nannies Taxi LLC to, for an extension of time until November 20th, 2025, to comply with commission rules and regulations required to operate and use a Class C taxi certificate. Prior to the expiration of this extension period on November 20th, 2025, Super Nannies Taxi LLC must come into compliance with commission rules and regulations or seek further extension or other relief from the commission. If Super Nannies Taxi LLC fails to come into compliance by November 20th, 2025, then Super Nannies Taxi LLC must file a new application with the commission seeking approval of a Class C taxi certificate and with the new application providing updated or current information.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Williams, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
Item C2 is in docket number 2025-38T. This is a request from S&D Reliable Transport LLC for a 9-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Thank you. As to item C2, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. I move the commission grant the request of S&D Reliable Transport LLC for a 9-month extension of time until December 13th, 2025 to comply with commission rules and regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. Motion has been made. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
Item C3 is in docket number 2024-131T, which is a request from Transpire Transportation Services, LLC, for an additional 3-month extension of time to comply with commission rules and regulations.
As to item C3, is there a motion?
Chair Powers.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you. This motor carrier has requested 2 prior extensions of time to comply with commission rules and regulations. We originally approved the application of Transpire Transportation Services, LLC, for a Class C non-emergency certificate on May 2nd, 2024. The last and most recent extension was granted by Commission Order Number 2024-748. In that order, the Commission provided an extension of time until February 6th, 2025 for Transpire Transportation Services, LLC to complete the certification process and to come into compliance with Commission rules and regulations. Order number 2024-748 is now null and void due to the lapse of the extension period on February 6th without Transpire Transportation Services, LLC coming into compliance with Commission rules and regulations or seeking a possible limited extension of time or other relief from the Commission. The third request for extension of time by Transpire Transportation Services is not timely. Given this background, I move the Commission grant the request of Transpire Transportation Services, LLC for an extension of time until May 1st, 2025 to comply with Commission rules and regulations required to operate and use a Class C non-emergency certificate. Prior to the expiration of this extension period, ending on May 1st, 2025, Transpire Transportation Services must come into compliance with Commission rules and regulations. If Transpire Transportation Services fails to come into compliance by May 1st, 2025, then Transpire Transportation Services, LLC must file a new application with the Commission seeking approval of a Class C non-emergency certificate and with the new application providing updated or current information.
Thank you, Commissioner Williams. We've heard the motion by Commissioner Williams. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it, the motion carries.
In Part D of the transportation agenda, there is one request to reinstate a certificate and to amend it. Item D1 is in docket number 2014-401T. This is a request from Integrity Student Transportation Services, LLC, to reinstate Class C Charter Certificate number 8992 and to amend the certificate to read Legacy Student Transport, LLC.
Having heard item D1 as presented by Mr. Scarborough, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belser.
I move that the commission deny the request of Integrity Student Transportation Services LLC for reinstatement of Class C Charter Certificate Number 8992. The motor carrier's Class C Charter Certificate Number 8992 was canceled on December 12, 2018. Due to the length of time that has elapsed between cancellation and the current request for reinstatement, the motor carrier should file a new application for a Class C Charter Certificate with the Commission to reflect the applicant's current information and thereafter come into compliance with the Commission rules and regulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. Having heard the motion by Commissioner Belzer, is any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by no, the ayes have it. The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this concludes all business noticed before the commission today.
Thank you, Mr. Scarborough, and thank all who have joined us. Enjoy your day and your weekend, and may you have the luck of the Irish on St. Patrick's Day. We are adjourned.